Hi guys, this is Shivati. In this session, I'm going to explain reactive forms. Reactive forms are more programmatic and provide a reactive approach to managing form state using the TypeScript. Let's go ahead and see some example so that it will be easy for us to understand these reactive forms. So this is the component I have created for the form, reactive form component to demonstrate this particular reactive form use cases. So the main characteristics of reactive forms are it basically uses the form builder. Now, if you look at this particular component, we have the imports for form builder, form group, and validators. So, form builder service to create the form controls, groups, and arrays dynamically. And the second one is once we are going to create the form controls, which are immutable form state. That means form controls are created and manipulated in the component code, maintain an immutable form state. So whatever the changes you are going to perform on this particular form groups, those are immutable. And also it provides the greater flexibility in terms of validations, and you can provide the custom validations, and also you can add dynamically, you can add elements or remove the elements, and complex scenarios can be handled using this particular reactive forms component. So most of the time the complex logic is going to be implemented in this particular TypeScript class. And coming to the HTML templates, HTML templates are going to be used some of the Angular directives like structural directives and attribute directives. By using that, you can basically control these validations. Now, first one is here we have the form group and my form and ng submit. And here we define three properties. If you look at one for the name, second one for the email, and third one for the age. But if you look at the component, here we are specifying what type of validations we need to define for these properties. So in the reactive form component, we have the constructor which is initializing the form builder. So this is the one of the important component. Once you define the form builder, then we are going to define the form group. For this form group, we are going to specify what are the properties it requires for this particular form, and then each property you can specify certain validations are required or not, and if it is required, then in the HTML template you are going to specify whether this particular property is required or not. Based on that, you are going to display the alert messages to the user. So here name is mandatory and email is mandatory, and also it should be proper email address. It should be proper email address, and then age we are specifying it should be minimum 18 years. Now let's go ahead and look at the how we are going to display these alerts to the user. Now, as we are specifying in the component or the TypeScript class, name, email, and the age are mandatory. So here we are using the ng if directive to check if this is field is mandatory or user has provided any input or not. If user is not providing any input for this particular input field, then it is going to display the alert or the message name is required. Similarly, email is required. Now, for example, user entered the email with some text, but it is not in a proper format, then it is going to alert the user saying invalid email format. Similarly, if user doesn't provide any value for the age input property, then it will alert the user age is required. If it is less than 18, then it is going to alert age must be at least 18 years. Let's go ahead and see this one with an example. So I'm going to, so this is the form we have built using the Angular reactive form. So if I'm not going to provide any value here, then it's giving the alert saying that name is required. And I didn't specify the email, so it says email is required. And if I start typing some text in the name, so the alert message is, validation message is gone. And email, I can type some text here, but if the email format is not correct, then it is going to provide the validation message saying input invalid email format. Now let's go ahead and add proper email address and then age. Now age is mandatory. Now if you are not going to provide any value, or let's say age I am entering with the age as 12, then age must be at least 18. Now if I am going to enter while age is greater than 18, then this form is valid. Now once this particular form is valid, then the submit button is going to be enabled. Okay, now let's go ahead and submit this one. So it is going to give you the toast or alert message saying whatever the user entered values. We are saying here age is 31, name is test, and email is test@gmail.com. And also we printed these details to the console. If you look at here, form submitted, and these are the um, these are the input parameters user passed to the component. Okay, so this is how we are going to implement the reactive forms in Angular. Okay, so finally, this is the one important difference we need to understand between the template driven versus the reactive forms. Template driven forms are beneficial for simple forms which offers quick development, and the form logic needs to be implemented in the HTML template itself. So template-driven forms will offer the quick development because most of the validations you are going to write in the HTML template itself. Whereas coming to the reactive forms are suitable for the more complex use cases, or you have to maintain or you have to implement dynamic nature for this particular HTML attributes. Then you have to go with the reactive forms, which basically offers you the custom validations and also greater flexibility in terms of validations and use cases you can implement in the TypeScript class itself. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.